The Crew 2 just received its final update, but it doesn't mean it's the end. In fact, they've got years planned. What's going on, boys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Sid, and we are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. So head down there, subscribe, and check out some of my other content on the channel. But this specific video you've chosen to watch is about what there is to come for the Crew 2 now. Because we just got the last update. Mad Volume 2. Whoa. That's a new... whoa, I wasn't expecting that wall to break. And Mad Volume 2 has brought... Oh, God! I forgot those are there. Mad Volume 2 brings with it a very, very interesting new style. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Damn it. A very interesting new style to the content. And by that I mean, there is gonna be content. There's gonna be things, in fact, unique to each player every single week in almost every single aspect of the game. This right here is the future of the Crew 2. So, to begin, we won't be getting any new events, any new cars, anything substantive. We're not going to be getting anything with a name. That's it. That's why we don't even have a Mad Volume 2 thing here, because they're done with it. It's just instantly been chucked into the backlog of Motorpass. That's why the pause menu isn't Mad Volume 2, it's the legacy of the Crew 2, because that's it. And they shuffled everything around by putting stories and hobbies here as well and moving it out of the pause menu. They're cleaning everything up. Hobbies is a good one to start with, though. These have been recycled for a very long time now. A very, very long time. Hobbies used to be interesting when it came to the weekly challenges for the hobbies. Eventually they gave up and they stopped caring. And that's going to stay the same. I mean, win events, drive around, win skills, find crates, earn bucks, and earn parts. These are going to remain the exact same as they have been the entire time. Still, every single week, you can do the same challenges, and you'll get the same 8 stars per hobby, per main original hobby. And that's how I've gotten 1,700 stars in Racer, 1,400 in 700 in Explorer, because you just do them passively. Like, I don't even remember what the original amounts were. You just sort of do it slowly. But of course, Stunt Performer and Stunt Performer Volume 2 remain stationary. They remain exactly as they were before. So that's the story on Hobbies. Hobbies finished. This one that we got was the last one. Next is PvP. Now, the PvP system is pretty important to this game. It was basically the only thing you could do in the game on a daily basis, really. So here's some of the things that are staying the same, and here's some of the things that'll change. There will be always the race playlist that has always been here. It used to cycle between 2 different ones, but then they sort of merged them, and now it's just always been this the entire time. And this playlist we'll just cycle through some of the random ones they have. Every now and then it'll be Demo Derby. Now, I genuinely believe this was already cycling through. This was already whatever, but they've explicitly said it now, that it's just gonna cycle through some generic ones. They've got a few community playlists. Those were made way back when, and those will also be ran through, including a race playlist, which is more pro racing, a different race playlist, which is more collision racing, a demolition playlist, this off-road playlist, and then community suggested playlists. And every single week, you can come back to the game and collect 5 gold parts based on whatever spec your current vehicle is, just by playing a few PvP events, which clearly I haven't collected them in a while, so it's still there. But that's really good for new players. Gold parts just by playing a few PvP events every single week. That's going to continue on for all of those still playing the PvP in the Crew 2. Hey, in fact, let's check. Is there even lobbies? Oh, look at that. There actually is lobbies. What are the odds? We found like a 5-person lobby. Nice. Now that is to remain the exact same. Hey, the live bus got a revamp. It is back to being the live bus. No way. It hasn't been the live bus in years. I haven't seen this. Hey, well, in the future of the Crew 2, I guess the live bus is back to the live bus. It's not got the Motorpass man in it, or I guess the live man, but it is here. That's nice to see. Didn't know the Crew 2 has also added a multi-scrap feature, which will automatically scrap every single part that is not gold. What? That's nuts. And, yep, okay, so I guess, yeah, it scraps anything that's not gold that's on screen at the time. Yeah, alright. Wow, that is so satisfying. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Now that is a bright future for the Crew 2. That's along with some other quality of life changes they made for everyone who's going to continue playing the Crew 2 from now on. Like this right here. Any car with a set on it will say what that set is on the pause menu here in the vehicle catalog. So you no longer have to go onto a car to actually see what that is on it, at least. Or you can find your sets a lot easier, especially selecting for the summit, of course. Just like there. You can see that has a Nitrochemist set on it. It's not great when you have very many Nitrochemist sets, which is why for the Crew Motorfest, I want them to add this. However, in details, also give us an option to see the specific affixes of these sets. Because again, I've got too many Nitrochemist sets, clearly. But a very good addition in this last set of quality of life for those who are going to stick with the game. I don't know if it's only ever been me, but whenever I go in here and I purchase a single vanity item, it always really annoys me when that vanity item automatically places itself on whatever car I'm on right now. That has been removed. When you buy it, you just bought it. It won't actually automatically place itself on whichever car you're currently using, like this thing. But I will say it does look good for this thing. But as you'll be able to see, those tires are not on my car by default. It was annoying. You might not have noticed it though. And while we're here, the weekly themed bundles will be randomized. So there will be weekly vanity bundles, but hey, they've been doing these for so long now that I'm sure they have in storage just so many. So yes, these will also be coming to the game randomized. And actually something really interesting for this, the vanities. So these will be randomized for everyone. Everyone will get randomized vanities here in the long term. Except if you already own some. Obviously this is the first week and we're still in the mad update, so they're still selected ones. But they'll be randomized after the mad update. And then if you already own them, you'll be given a different set of randomized vanities. So if you've ever wanted to own every vanity, you can own every vanity by just buying them every time. And then the game will manually give you every week a different set of randomized vanities that you don't own. Because everyone will have randomized vanities unless they own them already. At which point, it'll change it. And that's an all-around positive in my opinion. That's a good way of doing it. Let's talk about brand new cars for 1 second. Because even though after the mad update, there isn't going to be any new cars, there is a very brief future for new and returning cars to this game. And that can be explained in one simple set of images. There's of course 2 brand new Summit cars. Those are the last ever Summit cars we're going to be getting. We got this car and we got these cars. But on April 10th, we're going to be getting the Jaguar, and the Jaguar. And those will be the last ever cars added to the Crew. Those are coming April 10th. So we still got some time, just about a month. And also, these cars returning. All of these cars are coming back to the Crew 2. If you don't own any of these Motorpass cars, you will now be able to own them. However, one thing is worryingly missing. 2 things actually. The checkered Mini and the 350Z Forsberg edition. So all of these cars are coming back, and that does conclude every Motorpass. This goes up to the very end of Motorpasses. But the Nissan 350Z Roadster from Forsberg Racing isn't there, and neither is the checkered edition Mini Cooper for some reason in Touring. It isn't here. Now, the Mini did come back recently in Motorfest, but that's no reason for it not to return in the Crew 2. So that's worrying. But I guess we'll see what happens with that. There was also a fix where you can retry a community race without having to back out into vehicle selection every time, but that's whatever. The next few changes are in the Summit. In fact, the biggest changes for the rest of this game's life cycle going forward years is all in the summit. Oh, right, yeah, they moved the summit. I forgot about that. Hang on, did they really not add multi-scrap to the summit? Oh, they did! Oh, look at that! Ah, how nice is that? First of all, something they added. You can now go into the vehicle selection for an event, and just like you've been able to do in Motorfest, back out. Before you weren't able to, you'd have to select, have to go into it, and then back out. This is only available when you're on your own, not in a crew, etc. And before we get to the really juicy stuff, the last thing is that they added a brand new filter. It's in the filters menu behind me. Current summits, and then you can select between the restrictions that it has. These are the 2 vehicles you need for the current summit. And then street race, rally raid, motocross, rallycross. Those are just the vague specs restrictions that, as you can see, are what it is in here. Motocross, street, rally raid, rallycross, that thing, and then the slaloms, of course. And that's all for the quality of life changes that they made. But what's gonna happen now? So as you will have noticed for a while now, they've been re-adding summits to this game. That's been a thing for a very, very long time now. In fact, not just car summits like they do every now and then. Instead, it's every summit is a reran summit. As you can see, the Hoodlum edition there, that's a reran. Wild Escape, it came back, and they've been doing that for a little while now, but these are Vanity summits. Vanity summits that are coming back. And that's incredibly interesting, because now that's all it's gonna be, but in a very interesting way, and pretty good for those of you who are looking to get their car collection up. So here it is. Now, this thing we've been getting for ages. You know, when you go on the game, and if you haven't done an event, it gives you it in the menu, and it's like, hey, go play this event, you've not done it. We've had that for a while, that's gonna continue. Same with PvP playlists, same with the theme bundles. But here's the important one. 1 premium summit every 2 weeks, and previous live summits updated to the latest standards. So what do they mean by that? They presumably have gone through most, if not all, summits and adjusted their events, their rewards, and everything else to be up to the current standard. Meaning, summits like this, really old summits, before they even added rewards per every event, they've been given rewards per every event, and even given events from newer updates. That's happened to a bunch of these older summits that have come back. They've been given different events that weren't even in the game when that summit first released. So all of these summits have been revamped to be current, meaning up to the current standards, and 1 premium summit every 2 weeks. Now, what is this going to be? Because we've only got 2 more new summit cars to come. The one out right now, and the one out next month. Oh, sorry, in 2 months. Well, it's rather simple. Imagine this, but instead of being a new summit car every month or 2 months, they're all reruns coming out in order. Because that's what's been happening for a very long time now. You'll notice the first ever reruns they did in this cycle were the first ever summit car, the second ever summit car, followed by, of course, the 3rd ever summit car, the 4th ever summit car, and we've been going in that same cycle for so long now. We are all the way up to US Speed Tour summit cars, like the Hoodlum Beetle out next week, and that's gonna continue. We're gonna get a reran summit, then a reran summit car in order, then a reran summit, then a reran summit car, then a reran summit car. Presumably, these will keep on going in the order summit cars have released, and then finally finish by cycling back. By cycling all the way through every summit car again. So if you don't own a summit car in this game, it is only a matter of time till you do. There has been a lot of summits though, and they're coming out 2 every month, that being 1 every 2 weeks. But even still, that only about halves the time frame. So it's still like a 1.5-year cycle. But what about the other summits? What about the summits in between? How do they choose which ones are going to be put in the crew 2 in between the non-car summits? Well, it's rather simple. Every week, a live summit will return, selected from the hundreds of previous summits with its associated rewards, thanks to a new calendar integrated into the game. You will get the chance to enjoy seasonal activities you might have missed to earn exclusive vehicles and other rewards in the years to come. Meaning that seasonal rewards will come back in a cycle. It means they have a calendar set. Now, I don't know if that's a full year's calendar, presumably, with Christmas, Halloween, Easter, April Fools, I also imagine, because they've had a few April Fool themed summits, and that's one of the ones we'll see soon, I imagine. But all in all of these things will be coming back based on that calendar that they've gonna be cycling for years now. It's gonna be years of just summit repeats that you'll notice, oh look, it's that Christmas summit again. Oh look, it's that same Christmas summit from last year. Oh look, it's the same Christmas summit from the last 2 years. And I'm actually curious whether this will extend to the bundles. This car I'm in right now was a bundle. It was the Bad Santa bundle. So I wonder if those will also come back, or whether they will be fully randomized, or hopefully that calendar extends to that as well. But that is it. That is every single thing in the future of The Crew 2. A full rundown on what this game is going to look like for the next years. Well, basically the next 4 years, because, well, if you didn't know already, The Crew 1 did get shut down on its 9th year, and The Crew 2 just crossed its 6th year. In fact, it crosses it this year. So yeah, we've got about 3 good years of this until likely they also shut down The Crew 2. And the game you paid for is no longer playable. Ain't that sad? Well, thank you to popular members, a special thanks to famous members, and an insane thank you to star members Grim Pepper and Extreme Speed, and an insane top of the top thank you to icon members HK and Extreme Speed again. See you boys in the next one in a bit.